Life often resembles the experience of living in a tent, temporary, fragile, and vulnerable to the elements. Tents are not meant to be permanent homes. They are a stop along the journey, a temporary shelter that serves its purpose for a while, but is not where we ultimately belong. The Apostle Paul beautifully captures this idea in 2 Corinthians 5:4. For while we are in this tent, we groan and are burdened, because we do not wish to be unclothed, but to be clothed instead with our heavenly dwelling, so that what is mortal may be swallowed up by life. Paul uses the imagery of a tent to remind us that our current existence, with all its suffering and loss, is temporary. Just as tents wear out, become uncomfortable, and eventually need to be taken down, our earthly lives are not our final destination. In the tent of our mortal bodies, we experience grief, pain, and heartache, moments that shake us to the core and remind us of our fragile state. Yet Paul encourages us to lift our eyes to the hope beyond the tent. Just as a tent is not intended to be our permanent residence, our earthly life is not the end of the story. Through faith in Jesus, we are promised an eternal home that far exceeds anything on earth. Paul describes this as being clothed instead with our heavenly dwelling, where what is mortal may be swallowed up by life. This eternal dwelling is secure, unshakable, and filled with peace and joy that surpasses all understanding. Understanding that our current life is like a tent allows us to view suffering and loss with a different perspective. While the pain is real and profound, it is not the end. It is part of the journey, not the final destination. The hope we have in Jesus empowers us to endure, knowing that our present suffering pales compared to the glory that awaits us. While we are still in the tent, we are called to live with purpose, love deeply, endure patiently, and cling to the hope of our eternal home with our Heavenly Father. The discomforts and trials of this life are temporary, but our true home is with Jesus, where we find rest, peace, and the fulfillment of every promise He has made. Are you still searching for comfort in a temporary tent? Or are you looking forward to your eternal home? Place your hope in Jesus, for in Him we have a future far greater than anything we can experience on earth.